Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Public Works Podcast. My name is Joseph Blackman, and today we got a real treat for you. His name is Aaron Bergeson, and he is the Public Works Project Manager for the city of Palm Springs in sunny California. Aaron, say what's up to everybody.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
All right, so Aaron, city of Palm Springs, it's that city that a lot of us drive through, especially us Arizonans, to get to, let's say California, LA area, or even to the Bay Area. Kind of give us the lay of the land, maybe population and kind of some of the scope, so people outside of the area who might not know about Palm Springs, so they know what we're talking about here.
Sure. Yeah, the city of Palm Springs is in the Coachella Valley, and most people from outside of the area are probably familiar with Palm Springs because of Coachella Music Festival. But the city itself is about 44,000 people year round. But in the tourist season, which is the winter time, we nearly triple that population.
No way. Okay.
There's millions of tourists that come through every year, so it's a very small town that deals with quite a bit of pedestrian traffic through here. Yeah.
Okay. And talk about the heat. Gets up into the nice triple digits, man.
It's rough. I would be lying if I didn't say it was hard in the summertime. This summer's been very nice, but last summer we had, I think, over 60 days of 115 degrees plus.
Wow.
We hit 124 degrees on July 5th
Wow.
last year in 2024.
124. That's cooking, man. That's
Yeah,
cooking.
but the wintertime, it's almost enough to erase your mind of the
Yeah.
summer pain.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of similar to Arizona. All right, so you're the Public Works Project Manager. Such a vague title. I think we kind of know what Public Works is. Project Manager, that can mean 10 trillion things. So kind of give us the 30,000 foot view of what Aaron does or what's in your job description. Sometimes they're different. And then also give us kind of the day in the life of Aaron.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm really in the business of things that people only notice when they're broken. That's that's kind of the short answer to all of it. But as a project manager for Palm Springs Public Works Department, I have worked on everything from playground construction to currently scoping a firing range for the police department. I've done remodels of the fire stations. Everything from planned new projects to sort of long-term deferred maintenance, as well as emergency response and more sort of infrastructural issues that we're dealing with. So a day in the life is attempting to find some focus time and then getting pulled in every direction possible throughout the day.
I love it. All right. Let's say you're you get to your office. What's usually the main, I guess, point of contacts you're making? I call it the bat line. Something might be going wrong. The person that you call, like, who are you mostly on the phone with or corresponding with internally to get some of these, like you said, some of these things that might break fixed?
Yeah, I'm pretty close with my crew. I report directly to the director of public works, and he and I have pretty frequent interfacing on projects and things that are going down. But I would say boots on the ground, it's the deputy director of public works, Charles Weil, and then our maintenance supervisor, Alejandro Gonzalez. Those two are my solid go-to consistently on issues that I'm dealing with.
Gotcha. Let's talk about a little bit about the lore of Aaron Bergeson. That superhero history. Give us your career path from high school all the way up until today.
Sure. So from high school to today, well, maybe you know what? I'll start a little bit earlier than that. I grew up on a cattle ranch, so the lore starts in southeast Idaho, and I grew up as a ranch kid, and really got into actually the food service industry in my late, teens into the 20s, and then somewhere along the way, I had a customer who was an incredible builder. This is after I had moved to Portland, Oregon, and we got into a lot of conversations. I've always been a big architecture geek, and he owned a construction company that did really incredible high-end residential work. His name is Sam Hagerman. He's since passed, but I ended up working for his company for nearly 12 years. And, I really credit everything that I know in the construction world to my time with that company. I started as an apprentice carpenter, was lucky enough to, work on a house from excavation to finish as my very first project. And that house ended up in quite a few magazines, and we met a lot of really amazing sustainability goals on that house. And then from that point on, really kind of worked my way into project management in the residential world. And so I worked between Portland and Seattle on the Oregon coast for a good chunk of my career, and crash landed in public works about 2 years ago. And the way that happened was my wife has a lot of family in the Southern California area, and we were looking to get down here. City of Palm Springs attracted me specifically because of the architecturally significant buildings that the city maintains and operates. And so that's really what attracted me to public works in the first place, was to be able to work on some of these incredible designs that have stood the test of time.
Yeah. How does Aaron scratch his, I guess, architectural contractual itch, in his free time? Are you building stuff in the backyard? Are you moonlighting as a architect?
No, I'm not. I really scratch that itch at work, and probably end up being a really difficult client for a lot of our contractors because I have such a keen eye to quality. But no, outside of public works, I'm a musician, and that's really where my focus is.
Gotcha. Tell us more, musician. Tell us
Sure.
more.
Actually, so I went to school for my degree is in sonic art and music production. With
Interesting.
Yeah, it was maybe like 50% traditional music education, composition, theory, performance, and then 50% music technology and production. So outside of work, I compose. I release electronic music under the name Survival Skills. I'm going up to San Francisco in about a week to mix and master a record for a band. So I keep it spicy.
I like that. I appreciate you kind of talking about how it's more so technology, because some people want to get into music, but they don't want to learn how to play the piano or the guitar. Some of us just want to, like, for me in college, I just wanted to make beats. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you got to learn the piano." And I'm like, dude, I don't want to do that. I just want to learn Fruity Loops. Like, teach me the software, dude. That's how everybody else is doing it. So I appreciate that. Yeah. All right, let's talk skill sets for a little bit. So you're the public works project manager. What would be the main skill set somebody should pick up to be successful at what you currently do?
Um, I would say the first most important skill is to have the patience of a kindergarten teacher. It's it's a
Do you
job.
work with children?
No, I do not work with children. However, it's the type of role that just requires a lot of flexibility. Like you really need to be able to shift gears without getting upset about it. I think that patience and the ability to continue education and wear a lot of hats, right? I end up working on projects for things that I've never even considered before, right? And you have to be able to uh, be flexible and learn new things quickly, I guess. But I think that the patience and communication skills are really one of the most important, aside from traditional project management skill sets, organization, scheduling, X, Y, and Z. But I think the patience and communication is key.
Sure, sure. For some that might not know, like when you talk about the organization, communication, what's some of the main softwares that you live in work-wise? Is it, your calendar, Excel spreadsheets? Like, what are some of the things maybe somebody who might not know about the position should pick up skill set wise, like actual hard skills before they get into a position like yours?
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the primary skills that people need to learn is scheduling, and I really like to use Smartsheet. That is my like number one go-to for project management.
Okay.
It might not be right for everybody, but it's great because it is really flexible to sort of develop a process on everything from very, very small to very, very large projects. And uh, it's a little bit of a learning curve, but that's one of the key softwares that I use on a daily basis to track everything and to
Sure.
present information in a palatable way. And in addition to that, I mean, really just learning technical writing skills and understanding how to write a scope of work, write a staff report. And I think that those things will really come in handy for somebody who's trying to break into this specific field.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, it's story time. I need a story from Aaron when something went wrong under your watch, what you did to fix it, and then what lessons you learned from it to apply to your future career.
Oh man, I don't even know where to start. I don't know that I can give you a specific example, but I can give you the way that I react to when things go wrong.
You got to give me an example, man. If there's somebody out there in your same position, they just made a boo boo, or something happened under their watch, and they're needing Aaron to give them an anecdote that Aaron made it through it, so they will get through it. Come on.
Sure. An example would be when we were excavating for construction of a new playground here, and it was a playground and a massive shade structure. The winds are really really high here, and so our footings for this shade structure are about 16 foot deep. And in the excavation process, we hit a water main, right? And we have this. We, as in my contractor, but it's the colloquial we, because it's ultimately my responsibility. And it's set us back probably a good couple of weeks dealing with this, because it filled a very giant hole that we had dug with water. And typically that kind of setback is understandable, and you recover from that. But we really just had kind of a series of misfortune on this project that it had been sitting for a long time before I even got to the city, and so people were really really anxious to get this thing done. And so every little setback was a really big deal. And I think that the way that we react to our issues or adversity really shows what our character is. And the way that I responded to that, and then will respond to any issue that is either a direct mistake of mine or by proxy, is just owning up to it and communicating clearly and honestly uh, how we got there and what we're going to do to fix it, and then having a retrospective after that and seeing what we can do better next time. So for me, it all comes back down to communication and having those issues and the schedule delays, just being sometimes brutally honest with people that don't want to hear it, because bad news just doesn't get better with time.
Sure does, and I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
I go on your LinkedIn and or Google your name, and I see you on stage at PWX, which is the APWA, the big national conference. 15, 20,000 people there. Emerging Leadership Academy, Emerging Leaders Academy through APWA. Give us kind of the what it is, and then also give us the what Aaron gained from it or got from it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Emerging Leaders Academy through the American Public Works Association is a year-long commitment to a program put on by APWA, and um, it all starts off with a retreat in Kansas City at the APWA headquarters, and it's a weekend long retreat where you meet all the other students that got into the academy. I think that we had maybe I think it was like 33 in our class, so highly competitive to get in. Uh, Not just nationwide, but we had some classmates from Canada and the CPWA, and we all come together at this retreat and spend a weekend not only learning leadership skills, but really just being vulnerable with each other, and going through a lot of like practices and education with the instructors that really allowed us to kind of connect on a very human level with other public works folks. It's everybody from directors to equipment operators, project managers, and then after that we broke off into two teams, about 13 to 15 people per team, and uh, created projects, right? So we pitched a project at the retreat, and my team did a project where we created a magazine style guide for emergency management frameworks for public works uh, municipalities. And when we pitched this thing, about 2 or 3 months in, I think that we all kind of had a oh no moment, like what did we get ourselves into? Because it's something we didn't realize how much that we had bit off, um, and we really we plowed forward. And I think that the thing that I really really got out of this experience is the connection with the other folks in the team. Right, we had some really talented and motivated individuals in my group, and we worked together to tackle something that at a certain point we thought wasn't going to happen. And by the time we got to PWX, we had created this magazine. It's available. It's published on the APWA website now as a resource guide for emergency management frameworks, and then we presented at the conference. And the experience really for me gave me these lifelong connections with some really wonderful and talented individuals, and really kind of showed me how to focus on leadership in a different way,
Yeah.
because it was kind of stepping outside of my normal bounds of like anything I do in my personal life or even my project management skills. Being able to kind of work with very different personalities and work, you know, on a team that was spread so wide across this country and Canada. I really got a lot out of it.
Sure, sure. Do before signing up for the program, did you kind of know what was going to be about? Like, have you heard, let's say, whisperings or some rumors about what it was going to be, and were you blindsided by it, or was it just you came into it open and it was refreshing to see what you gained from it?
I came into it very open. I am really into continuing education. It's something that I'm always wanting to gain new skills, and so I came into it with a little bit of an understanding. My boss, the public works director of Palm Springs, was like, "Hey, maybe you should think about um, this leadership academy," and looked into it. I was like, you know what, I'll apply. He wrote me a letter of recommendation. My colleague wrote me a letter of recommendation, and I got in. And I was like, all right, well now I'm committed. And I didn't expect that it was going to be so involved, and I'm really glad that it was. It really pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I really appreciate that.
Sure. You talked about continuing education and kind of keeping keeping your I would say sword sharp. Tell us what you do intentional or actionable. It could be week to week, month to month, day to day. How Aaron continues to level up. I mean, you could just go, you know what, I know everything, or I've seen a lot of this stuff before. Just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But I can tell there's something in there that makes you want to get better and better. So what is that? And then what do you do intentionally?
Yeah, I think that there's really a multitude of things. I like to keep up on building technology and really understanding the construction side of things. And specific to that, I follow a builder, Joe Stebrick, and Building Science Corp. To kind of just keep on top of like how builders are thinking about structures and how they're thinking about sustainability and really understanding how these living buildings that we exist in can get better, right? So that's one aspect of it. I'm always looking at new technologies and trying new things out. This last week I tried out Beacon Bid, which is a really great like bid writing research tool and AI. I recommend giving it a shot. I'm only a couple of days in on this thing, but I'm very impressed. Going to conferences, I think that that's a really helpful thing. To meet other people and kind of understand how they're approaching public works and how they're approaching working in buildings. And then, kind of just looking to the future for me will be to go on to get my MPA. That's kind of next steps for me. I'm on pause just for a minute because my wife is finishing her MBA at UCLA, and we've made an agreement in our relationship that it's like 1-to-1. So she went back for more undergrad, and then I went
Yeah,
back, and then she got her BFA, and now she's getting her MBA, and then I'll go back after
uh,
that. So
yeah.
yeah,
Can't do them both at the same time. That's
it's a lot.
chaos.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. All right, let's say you're at a dinner party, and of course the question always comes up, Aaron, what do you do? And you tell them, you say, I am the City of Palm Springs Public Works Project Manager. What do you think they think when you tell them that?
Well, if I'm being honest, if I'm at a dinner party and somebody asks what I do, my answer doesn't go to my day job.
I respect that. I respect that.
Um, and,
More
and
people should respond in kind. Yeah.
yeah, and not that I don't love my day job, but I don't always feel like people want to hear about it. And so, if they ask specifically, I'll get into it. But for your question, for the sake of this question, what do I do? I think I said it best at the beginning of this talk is that I'm in the business of things that people only notice when they're broken. That's what I do. I do my best to keep our city facilities highly functioning, modernized, safe, and I work with a solid crew of contractors and a solid crew of individuals that really help me with that mission.
Sure, sure. Let's say it's 2 a.m. You're staring at your ceiling. You can't get any sleep, and it's because of work. It's because of your day-to-day job. What keeps Aaron up at night? What are some of those things that you're like, oh, it's pondering about, and you're trying to figure it out in the middle of the night?
I mean, the things that keep me up at night about work are things that I can't solve right now, right? It's like the sort of long-term infrastructural issues that if I could wave a magic wand and get more electrical capacity in the city, or fix all of the cooling equipment in all of our cooling centers, if I could just wave a magic wand, like those are the things that keep me up at night because it's inevitable that things break, right? You've got moving pieces in all these buildings, and they age, and you only have so much money and so much time, and those are the things that keep me up at night. Are the key items that people really depend on in their day to day.
Sure, sure. What have you seen? It could be at the city of Palm Springs, or it could be at a neighboring facility or city or agency. And what have you seen that has gotten the, let's say, younger generation intrigued and interested in joining up with Public Works, or being employed by Public Works, and then also getting them competent as quick as possible? I focus a lot on the silver tsunami and those leaving the industry. They're taking all those gift skills and talents in the 20, 30 years of institutionalized knowledge with them. What have you seen how cities can capture that, and then also give that to the new generation so they can operate?
I mean, that's really a great question, and it's a hard one to answer because I'll be honest, I have not seen a lot of motivation from the younger generation to get into public works, to get into skilled trades. This is a real crisis, right? Like we really need younger generations to get into this stuff, and I think that um, some of the things that I've seen maybe outside of the public works realm, but in some of my previous employers, what they would do is they would work with local high schools and community colleges to set up classes and apprenticeship programs, and really kind of you know capture that energy while young people are still trying to figure out what they want to do, right? And I think that that's a really good way to do it. But I think that cities and people within the trades industry really need to look to the youth to see what they need, right, to get interested in this stuff, because it's not just about what we need, right? Like you have to like find a way to get them interested in it. And when
Yeah.
we're 2025, we've got so many different pathways that you can choose as a young person. Like, why choose public works?
Guys, that's such a refreshing perspective. Like, we can't just focus on what we need. Well, oh, we need more diesel mechanics, we need more water treatment operators, we need more this or that. What do they need?
Yeah,
What are they searching for? Are they searching for a 2-day work week with so much free time? Are they searching for a certain salary with benefits? And it's not. I would say that the younger generation, and I'm a millennial, I'm 38, even myself included, I would take less money if I got more free time. You get what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah,
Like, I like kind of, and I loved your response on it. On You don't lead with your job title when somebody asks you what you do, which I'm a firm believer that, like, if somebody asks me, so Joseph, what do you do? I'll say, well, I like to do ultra marathons, and I like to, tinker in my garage, this and that. And I could tell the look on their face says, oh, I meant, like, what do you do for money so I can judge you, right?
right, sure.
So I could try to place you in a financial bucket of who is the top dog in the room, which
Yeah,
is which is how we operate for some reason.
yeah. I
So
like to play that game.
yeah. But I do think if we kind of led with our passions, our hobbies outside of work, that makes a more fruitful conversation. That could be the same thing with getting people into the industry. Is what do you want to do outside of work? So maybe we can help supplement that, and not, just only focus on what we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I will offer, just to interject here a little bit.
sure.
Uh, I will offer, one perspective in public works that was really a surprise to me that I didn't think about before I got into it, which is really how rewarding it is to see the work that you do enjoyed by the community. I had a really great career in private sector construction before this, and really only each project would deliver to a single family, and that's great, and I really appreciated the work. But now I drive by a couple playgrounds in the city that I completed, and you see the whole neighborhood using that. And so there's something really really rewarding about that it's hard to quantify.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to put a price tag on that altruistic factor to it. All right, let's say you're commissioned to put up a billboard, and this billboard is in the most trafficked area of Palm Springs. What ask of your community in regards to public works would you put on this billboard?
Oh, I don't know. I could get serious about this, or I could just say like, feed your local public works team. Like
Feed the
I'm I'm,
animals.
I'm very I'm very food, snack, and coffee motivated.
Okay.
So a little gratitude goes a long way. But yeah, I think that something like that. Just notice that your public
Yeah.
works team is there. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say, and to kind of bring some more light to it, what would you say would be the most impactful pat on the back for the operators out there right now in the heat? Let's say the city members are listening to this in a way that they could thank them, what would that be?
I think really just respectful interactions and notice when things are going right. Because that's kind of the thing, right? Is that everybody notices when something's failing, but notice when something's gone right, and you see a city employee out there, doing a really great job on landscaping or working on some maintenance. Just a quick thank you. I think the crews would really appreciate that.
For sure. For sure. All right. Always like to leave a space on the show for you to thank mentors that you had along your journey. And then I want you to give a word of inspiration and motivation to your fellow, let's say, public works project manager counterparts across the nation.
Oh wow. Okay. I've got way too many mentors to thank on here, so I'm
We
gonna
got time, yeah.
I'm gonna thank everybody, all of my instructors in Emerging Leaders Academy at APWA. That that program and those instructors in my cohort really gave me clarity of what I want to do next with my career, and so I have a deep appreciation for that. And my boss, David Maccabee, the director of public works, he has been extremely supportive in um, any bit of education that I want to tackle, or any conference that I see as valuable for myself and for the role. He's a great mentor. Somebody that I mentioned earlier in the podcast, Sam Hagerman. He was the individual that got me into construction in the first place, and before he passed, really just instilled a curiosity in building and in building science in me, and I just have a great appreciation for that.
Sure, sure. And what do you say to those across the country? They're fighting the same battles you're fighting. They're in the trenches with you. What do you say to keep them motivated, keep them inspired?
Oh man, well, just to reference a great Tupac, keep your head up.
Love it. Love it. Good stuff. All right, Aaron. Let's say I'm coming to town and I text you ahead of time. I say, Aaron, where can I go to get the best burger in Palm Springs, California? Where are you going to send me?
And I'm giving you two answers.
Okay.
So classic, kind of old school, but like it's indoor outdoor vibe. Tyler's Burgers. That's
Tyler's?
Tyler's, yeah. So that place is a great kind of lunchtime spot. More on the evening side of things, there's a place called Heyday that does a smash burger and martini combo, and yeah, that place is a vibe.
All right. Tyler's Burgers and Heyday it is. Feel like I'm always in Palm Springs enough, so I got to check one of these spots out.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler. Well, thanks for hopping on the podcast today. Thanks for sharing your wealth of information and knowledge with us. To all the listeners out there, make sure you share this with somebody you think needs to hear it. Aaron, any final words before we get out of here?
No, just appreciate you having me on the podcast, and I'm looking forward to continuing to listen to your show.
For sure, man. All right. Well, thanks for hopping on. This has been the Public Works Podcast, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in.